I'm your host, Carol Kahn. We are coming to you live from Yavapai College. It's one of our sponsors, along with Northern Arizona Healthcare, Goldenstein Gallery, BMO Bank, and the City of Sedona. So thank you to our sponsors. And joining me now is, I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself.
Cabral Clements, and I am the producer or the Inventor short film that we just screened yesterday.
Oh, awesome. Great. So is this your first time in Sedona?
Second time in Sedona, first time at the Sedona Film Festival. So it's really cool to be here. Last time I was in Sedona, went on some really cool hikes, but I just, love being out here.
Awesome. Well, good. And so you came from Atlanta?
Correct.
Awesome. Well, welcome. It's good to have you here again. So talk to me a little bit about your film and what it's about.
Yeah, so The Inventor, it kind of highlights Garrett Morgan. Garrett Morgan, he was an African-American inventor who kind of revolutionized both the traffic light and the gas mask. And it follows kind of the story that Garrett Morgan had when he used his own invention to go inside of a mine to rescue trapped workers and bring them up. But he didn't get recognition for that event.
And what inspired you to do this particular film?
Interestingly, I actually first heard about Garrett Morgan in the second grade, so in elementary school. And that story just kind of stayed with me for several years, and kind of researched a little bit more throughout like high school, college. And I was like, this could be a really cool film. So let's start with a short film. And my friend Philip Muse, who is the writer director, kind of took it and made it his own. The collaboration of the rest of our crew.
So did you study film in college?
I did. I studied. I took some film classes in college.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct. Yeah.
So you kind of had this in the back of your mind that this is something that you were going to do for quite some time.
Yeah. I mean, so I've always done, video making, filmmaking, that sort of thing. I grew up in the generation where YouTube just started getting really popular. So like the 07, 08, I was on YouTube heavy, and then kind of just sharpened my craft, learned a lot of new things. And then in college, continuing to, make films. I just thought that this would be something that I'd want to help tell the story about, because not a lot of people know about Garrett Morgan. Mm-hmm. And even though he is one of the more popular kind of entrepreneurs and scientists, inventors of the time, there still is a lot of work to do in terms of exposure and getting his name out there.
Awesome. Well, you did bring a film clip for us to see. So let's take a look at that, and then we'll talk more.
Okay.
So tell me about the film. What was your takeaway after you've learned about this inventor and now you've done this film? What's your biggest takeaway, and what have you learned more about him?
There's so much. Of course, like I mentioned, his innovation with the traffic light, the gas mask. He had a hair straightening company. He had a tailor shop. All of these things in 1916. And throughout his life, he continued to be kind of entrepreneurial in that sense. Just a few weeks ago, myself and Philip, the director, writer, we went to Cleveland, and we dug up some archival letters and everything at the historic center out there, just to kind of understand more of what his thought process was. And we also had the opportunity to kind of meet up with Sandra Morgan, who is Garrett Morgan's granddaughter, who kind of has been a cheerleader for us throughout this entire process, and Garrett Morgan III, who is Garrett Morgan's grandson. And we just kind of learned their perspectives of who the man was beyond just hero and riveting inventor.
Yeah, and especially during that time, like 1916, right? You don't like hear about any kinds of stories like this, especially being a black inventor during that particular time. So,
Right.
what kind of hardships did you find in your investigations of this person?
I mean, there were a number of hardships, and honestly, not a lot of hardships that kind of we're still facing today. And you'll see in the film that he had to kind of like put a mask, like physically put a mask over himself, kind of to sell his gas mask, and have somebody else be the person to act as Garrett Morgan. In the film, we kind of personified his brother-in-law, his white brother-in-law, because he was married to a white woman in real life. So we personified his white brother-in-law to kind of be the face as he needed to sell the gas mask to fire departments, especially in the South.
Right. I mean in the South especially, that's like a whole nother dynamic.
Right. I mean, he did live in Cleveland though.
Right.
But he was selling, all over the country, and even sold to the military.
Wow. How long did he live?
He lived from, and I should know the exact dates, but he lived into, I want to say, his 80s. So he had a pretty long, substantial life, even after getting some blindness later on in his life, and also the effects of going into a burning tunnel to save miners using his gas mask and his invention that presented some health issues as well.
Wow. So when you met his family, what were some stories that maybe they like told you that didn't really make it to the film but were inspiring to you?
I mean, there were a number of stories. One was interesting. He jumped into a lake to save people who were drowning, and another one, like he ran into a burning house because there were still some people in that house. He wasn't able to save their lives, but kind of a constant story of him saving people, or him being of and about the community.
And were you surprised at all that like you were the one to tell the story, but his family, did they like have anything to tell the story, or
Yeah,
what
I mean,
was their part in it?
yeah. So Sandra Morgan, especially, she kind of serves as the historian of the family, and she has had talks. You can search her up on YouTube. She talks about Garrett Morgan, the dynamic of that time in Cleveland. She is very informative about kind of the entire situation that happened in that time, and of Garrett Morgan, specifically. And she has done a lot of work, and the family has done a lot of work in terms of just like writings, and especially in collaboration with what we're trying to do moving forward.
I'm just impressed that you learned about this from the second grade. It
Yeah.
still continues, like
And-
it continued with you.
And that's the power of exposure. So this film, my hope is that it kind of just exposes people to the possibilities, and who knows what it inspired me to make a film about this individual, but maybe this will inspire the next inventor to create something that the world really needs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, brilliant. That's brilliant. Thank you for doing that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And how can people find out about your film?
So inventorfilm.com, also on Instagram, inventorfilm. So you can go to any of those things. We were just released on Amuleto, which is a platform that showcases some of the world's top short films. So you can watch it there now.
And it looks like that you're in a bunch of film festivals. So
Yeah, so we were in a
bravo.
bunch like last year in 2023. This is our first film festival. So now we're kind of just seeing what the story is going to take next.
Yeah. So what's going to happen next for you?
I mean, we are looking to expand the film. That's why we're continuing to do research, continuing to work with the family, because it works well as a feature film. And I think that there's just so much to his life and so many stories that even a feature film won't be able to tell them all. But I think we'll be able to do a lot with that.
I think you'll find a way.
Yeah.
Well, it's brilliant. So, and then here in Sedona, where can people see your film?
Oh, the next showing is Tuesday, tomorrow. I should know the time. I don't. I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, we have a showing tomorrow. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make that one because I'll be leaving in the morning.
No, you're not allowed. You have to stay here longer next time.
Yeah, it's hard to go.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for bringing us your film. It's called The Inventor, and it will be showing tomorrow. And make sure that you see this and watch this filmmaker, brilliant filmmaker. So I look forward to seeing your path and what you did next. So thank you so much.
And thanks for having me. This film festival is definitely one of the better ones that we've been to, and it can't be in a better landscape than Sedona, Arizona.
Yeah, so you have to come back and
Absolutely.
stay longer next time. Okay, and please make sure you follow us and hashtag SIFF23 and Sedona Film Fest 23. And we're also on Facebook Live if you'd like to see other interviews that we've been doing. And we'll be back with more from the Sedona International Film Festival after this.